Waka waka waka, what's up? Today, we're going to be doing an in-depth review and transformation of the Transformers Studio Series Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime. Let's transform, roll out, and take it to the table. And welcome back to the table yet again, viewers, for yet another FC Finch review. Sticking around in the mainline sector today with yet another mainline Optimus Prime. And of course, this is yet another Studio Series Optimus Prime. This figure comes to us from our good friend of the channel, JJ. He usually gives me figures to lend. Sometimes I ask for them, sometimes he asks me to review them. In this case, he asked me to review this one along with the Studio Series Bumblebee Optimus Prime. We're actually going to be doing an extensive comparison between those two, since these guys are rough. I wouldn't say they're exact mold mates, but let's just say this has a lot of similarities with that mold. So we are going to get right into the review now. I didn't unbox the sticker, and JJ was kind enough to provide me the box. So we're going to take a quick look at the package, and of course we have a very nice shot of Optimus Prime on there as he appeared in Rise of the Beast. Hard to believe this movie is like 2 years old already. I can't believe it. Studio Series Optimus Prime 102, and it's got Transformers on the side. You got Transformers Rise of the Beast, Takara Tome, and yeah, 8+ by Hasbro. You got on the side, you got another running shot of Optimus Prime right there. Authentic Transformers, since we got to specify these things these days with all the third parties running around. And then on the back you have, oh look, 35 steps. Wasn't the last one? Let's find out. Hold on. I got the other box here. Oh, look at that, 35 steps for the Bumblebee Optimus too. So yeah, pretty much some very similar mode. You got him in bot mode, you got him in truck mode, and of course there's his display base, and you got all the legal mumbo jumbo. You got more legal mumbo jumbo on the bottom. You got a nice heads-up shot of Optimus Prime from the Studio Series, and you got on the top Transformers Rise of the Beast. See it in theaters. Well, you can't anymore. And that's pretty much it for the box. We'll do the instructions really quick, and they're like all mainline instructions. And again, this guy's transformation is similar to Bumblebee Optimus Prime, of course, and that it's still a simple mainline transformation, but it is a hair on the technical side, which is it's a very good technical. And you got a nice shot of him up there, and they're, you know, pictorial instructions, very overall easy to follow, done in a nice paper matte type format. And that's pretty much it for the instructions. So let's talk about the figure, and I actually have quite a few things to say on this figure, since I did recently review his previous remold the mold that he came from, and we're just going to get into the details on this guy. Again, nice silver face paint on the face. You can even got some molded detail, and it does look really good. Same thing at the crest on his head. You do have some nice blue for the eyes. They are very hard to see though, but it is in there. Helmet done in a nice blue plastic, looks really good. You got the stacks done in gray plastic, lots of gray plastic up here. You know, the Autobot symbols kind of pick out. This one is kind of angled just a little bit, not exactly upright. And you got some silver paint on the shoulder. Same thing with the chest. You got silver paint, clear smoked out plastic on the chest area, which does look very good. On the belly area, you got some gray plastic, and then you got some painted plastic right here for all his little abdominal technicals. That's a molded detail in there. That does look very good. Even got the little Autobot symbol imprint right there. And then you got some paint on the pelvic area with some yellow paint right here. The yellow paint is kind of shoddily done, but I mean, it looks good. It's a for mainline, it's fine. And the pelvis, I'm not sure if his gentleman's area, it looks painted. Yeah, I think his gentleman's area is painted. It's always good to have a painted gentleman's area. Then of course you got gray plastic for the elbows. You got some molded plastic on his wrist. It does clear up some of the kibble that the Bumblebee Optimus Prime does have, so there is that. Moving on to his legs, and you got that nice no, this looks like plastic right here. So this is plastic, so it's not painted on this one. You got some paint down here, but this looks like plastic right here, but it is molded detail. You got some paint on the knee, which is very nicely done, and the rest of this is blue plastic on the sides. You got the I think these are pretty much the same type of wheels that the Studio Series has. We'll talk about more in truck. We're not going to deal too much with it. And this leg design is very similar to the Bumblebee Optimus Prime rip right from. Same thing with the back plate. I mean, they shared basic similar models in the movie. Does a good job with screw mitigation, and of course no gaps on this mold really. It looks really good overall. The only thing I kind of don't like the tires hanging out in the abdomen right here, but it's not all that off-putting. We'll talk about his articulation next. The head is of course on a ball joint. It can look up just a little bit, it can look down just a little bit, it can go all the way around. It is kind of tight on that swivel. The arms can go all the way around on a very nice traction hinge, move very nice. They do come out, but I'm not a fan of how this works. I really wish the pivot joint was in here, but I digress. You do got a bicep rotation, and you do get a double, yeah, it is a double joint elbow for the full on, yeah. You can also break his elbow, but that's more for transformation purposes. You do get a wrist swivel, and you do have a little bit of in and outward motion due to transformation with the wrist. Bring it out because you do get an ab crunch with this figure at a little bit of sculpt break expense, and you get a very nicely moving waist swivel. You do have a side hip skirt as well, and you do have on a hinge right here, and then you have a separate hinge right here. You can get a full-on fusion kick. You can get a fusion high kick out of him. Bring it back down. You get nothing at the back. It hits on his stationary butt plate, and if you move the hip guard out to the side, you get about a fusion half kick, so about 1.5 fusion kicks. Not too great. You get a very nice thigh swivel. You get more than 90 at the knee to get you right in the nuts, and you bring it back down. You get ankle tilt for days. You get a little bit of toe tilt and just a smidge of heel tilt, and that's pretty much it for his articulation. We'll go over his accessories next, and unlike Bumblebee Optimus, he comes with a few of those. So the first thing he comes with is of course his blaster, and he didn't have an ion blaster like he traditionally does in the movie. He had this little hand cannon right here, and how this goes on is you do have this little port in the back, and what you want to do here is you want to kind of transform his hand. So you're going to move the wrist out of the way, and you're going to open up his hand. Oop. There we go. And you're just going to rotate the wrist inside there. You can see you got a little peg in both. You can do this on either hand, and you're going to fold this back up, and you're just going to put this on just like this, and there you go. And he's got his hand cannon all ready to go right there. Next up, he does come with a few melee weapons. He comes with, of course, a battle axe, because where would Optimus be without his battle axe? And this is very nicely done. Just done in like a gray plastic, but it does have a lot of nice molded detail over. I love how the blade kind of has little teeth on there. This is really well done. Wish it had some paint on it, but I mean, for mainline, it's fine. I'm just being overly picky here. Other than that, yeah, a lot of nice molded detail on here, and of course that will hold in the same fashion that all other mainline melee weapons hold. But wait, he can do even more melee, because he does come with this sword right here, and like the axe, this is cast, no, actually I believe this is painted. This is painted because it's blue plate. It's cast in blue and is painted very nicely. Got a lot of molded detail in here, especially on the kind of, I guess, the hilt of the sword will be his hilt, and that is done very nice. And of course you have a port right here, and if you look on the wrist, you can give it to him just like he had in the movie, and there he has a port right there on his hand, and you can just kind of plug that in if you so desire. So you can go double down on the slashing. Alternatively, you do have a peg right here, and you can kind of peg it into the side of his hand if you wanted to go that route, of course. And as far as weapon storage goes, you can take his little hand cannon here, and you got little pegs on the top and bottom, and you get some ports on the back. You can just plug that into his back just like that. There you go. Same thing with the sword. You're just going to use that same peg that we just plugged into his wrist, and you're just going to plug that back there. If you want weapon storage, of course, I would just put these back in the box. There is no place to store the axe. This port is too small, and that's pretty much. Oh, I'm missing one. I always miss one with these Studio Series. Of course, you do get the base, the display base. And this is, I forget where they were in the movie. I'm sorry, it's been 2 years. But of course, this is wherever they were in the movie, and you can kind of, it's just one of those gimmicks that they have. They make the box part of the toy because that's how they can justify adding $5 to the price tag. And so if you want to put them on display in part of the box, then you're more than welcome to. And now, finally, we are done with his accessories. And for a couple quick comparisons in robot mode, and we're going to spend a little bit of time here because JJ asked me to. And so So first one, we'll bring in our typical mode of comparison, SS86 Hot Rod, so you can see how he looks. And like I said with Bumblebee Optimus Prime, I think this scale works. This looks like about the size they should be together, despite that they are from different universes of the same franchise. And we'll get Hot Rod off the table there because we're going to get him in with Bumblebee Optimus Prime, which I believe that he shares most of this mold. But they share, let me just put it this way, they share very similar engineering. And overall, you can kind of get a glimpse of, you know, what they kind of changed around and whatnot, different color schemes that they use. We'll get them both from the side right here, and we'll lift the arms up just in case, just so you can see how they look. And I'm gonna say this, so what it seems like is they made changes to this mold to accommodate different levels of articulation, and while I think it worked in some areas, I think it for the most part suffered. I think the whole figure kind of suffers for it in terms of the Rise of the Beast Prime. I do feel like, at least in robot mode and definitely in truck mode, and we're going to see that in just a bit, the Bumblebee Optimus Prime is definitely the more cohesive. I think it's the more appealing figure to look at. I like the colors on it. I think overall this just works better as a figure versus the Rise of the Beast. I mean, granted, they are based on different versions of the same character, but overall I definitely think that I wish they would have adhered kind of more to the engineering that they used here versus trying something a bit different, which I don't think works as well on the Rise of the Beast Prime. And that's going to be about it for our comparisons. So now it is time to get Rise of the Beast Optimus transforming up into his alternate mode. Of course, we can all guess what it is. And overall, as I previously stated, this is a generally fun and easy mainline transformation. It does have some technicalities to it that make it a bit more enjoyable than most, but let's get right down to it. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to unplug the back plate, just kind of bring it down on this hinge right here. Next, we're going to open up his chest, and we need to get a spudger because we need to get this plate in here out. There you go. You're just going to bring this up and cover up his head, and then you're going to take the head, you're going to unpeg it and bring it down just like that, and you're going to close up the chest just like this. Is just going to kind of tab into here just nice and loose like. Next, what we want to do, we kind of want to bring out the arms just a bit so you can kind of bring the ab crunch forward. And what we're going to do is we're just going to rotate him at the chest. You can see we're already, the similar engineering is going here just like that. And then we're just going to kind of bring his chest up just like this and just kind of seat him just like that, almost as if he's seated backwards. Next, what we want to do is we're going to work on the arm. The first thing I'm going to do with the arm is I'm going to rotate this down because I always forget this step. In every single practice round, I forgot this step. We're just going to rotate this 180 degrees so the slot is on the bottom here. Next, just like we put the little gun hand on, we're going to open up this panel and we're going to open up right here, and we're going to fold this in, and then we can just close this up and we can just kind of leave this out for now. Next, what we want to do is we want to rotate back on the shoulder right here. Just kind of rotate this whole assembly back just like this. And what we want to do is we just want to back, oh, hold on, missed a step. We're going to rotate his arm at the bicep 180 degrees around, and then we're going to bend upwards at the elbow joint right here. And now we can kind of rotate this back just like this, and then we can kind of rotate this inward just like this. There we go. There we go. So now that that is sitting all nice and cohesive, you can bring this up and kind of close this in just like that. And then you could bring this down right here and just close this up just like that. On the roof here, you can take this panel, fold this in, it's going to just tab in right here, and then we could take this wheel and just kind of rotate it around, just rotates around this hinge, and just rotate it just like this. And it's going to be the exact same order of operations on the other side. I'm going to do it off camera. We will be right back. So now you can see we have both sides of the truck done. Pretty much we're in very similar territory as we're going to move up the front of the truck. We're just going to kind of double hinge it in, just kind of collapse this in, and we're just going to kind of snap it in just like that. And that's pretty much going to finish off the cab of the truck there. Next, what we want to do is we're going to transform the legs real quick. So what we're going to do, we're going to do one leg at a time. So first thing you want to do is you just kind of want to untab the little shin. Just has tabs in here, and you got like some little slots right in here. You're just going to untab this and just kind of bring it up just like this. Next, you can fold this around and just kind of bring it over just like this, and we can rotate. We're going to rotate the foot in and then just kind of rotate it in just like this, and it'll just sit just like that. And next up, you have the little side skirt here that just kind of pegs in to the leg, and you can also bring out the gas tank. It's not, this may fall back in, it's not really, it doesn't really have really too much of a tension keeping it in like this, but again, something that should be done. And it's going to be the exact same thing on the other leg. I'll do it off camera. We will be right back. So now I got the truck looking like this. You can see you got 2 ports in here, and this is where you can store the sword. It's best to do it during transformation. You just use this blue peg right here, and you're just going to peg it in right in between his crotch area just like this. And then you can see you got a tab connection right in here, and you're just going to tab the legs together just like that, kind of make everything nice and cohesive. Then what we want to do is you just kind of want to bring the feet forward. You got tabs right here that are going into a slots right there, and you got the little ports right here that are going to plug into the stacks. So we're just going to kind of bring that down and kind of plug it in, and then plug this. Ooh. There we go. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Just kind of bring this down. There we go. And into the port just like that. Make sure everything is good to go. And like magic, there we have Rise of the Beast Studio Series Optimus Prime in his truck mode. And let's talk about that truck mode. Only so many ways you could do a truck, but this is where this figure kind of loses it for me. So let's go into it in depth. And you have the little fascia piece here, his little cage front, done in nice gray plastic. It does look very, very good. You got the grill painted very nicely in silver paint. Same thing with the stripage. Yeah, the stripage going all the way back. It does look very, very good painted on there. Clear smoked out plastic on there, and they got the paint for the little visor right there. Even got the Autobot symbol molded in there, just kind of faceless. It got the little paint for the windshield wipers, same thing for the headlights down here. Overall, the front looks very good. The sides use some hinges, things, you know, mainline figure, mainline things. I'm not too upset at it. You got that lot of nice molded detail right here. You got door handles molded in, you got little panels, you got little pull bars and everything. And if you get to the top, you notice that you got some gray and red plastic breakup. Not as panely as the Bumblebee Optimus Prime, but still, I think it doesn't look as clean or anything like that. They use some nice same silver paint. I think it's pretty much the same type of wheels. You got the tread on there done on plastic tires. Same thing with the back. You got that nice lug nut look. I really do dig this look. It does roll incidentally very well. And again, you got your gas tank detail right down here going all the way back. And yeah, if you look at this is just where this kind of falls apart for me overall. I'm just not a fan. I've never been a fan of how this was done, and all the reviews I've seen of it. I'm gonna come out and say it, for shame, Hasbro. And you know, again, I really try to give the benefit of the doubt towards getting rid of kibble in transformation modes. You've seen it with the Fans Toys Gary. You've seen it with a few other bots that have questionable alternate modes. I really try and be forgiving. I really try to say if it's mainline, it's fine. Give it the benefit of the doubt. But this to me is just lazy. This doesn't look screen accurate at all. It's just like I don't know why. What in the budget prevented them from putting in an extra flip panel here to clean this up just a bit. I mean, it just looks very unsightly overall. This truck bed, the sword storage, of course, you got that in there. That doesn't really do much for me. And you got just the feet kind of tucked back here. This whole just feels very unloved, very much like an afterthought, just not clean at all. I'm really, really not a fan of this. This is where this mold really loses me. And if we flip it over, you can see, I mean, it cleans up as about any other truck bot should. Again, these don't really hold out too well. Looks really, really good overall. I mean, not too much, You can barely tell it's a robot down here, unless you look at the back of the truck bed, which I'm really not going to let this die. Again, I really, for shame. As far as weapon storage goes, so again, he can only store the sword, which you got right here, and he can store his blaster. And of course, you just use these little tabs right here. You got little slots. You can put it on either side. You can just kind of put that back in there. Again, looks ridiculous, but the whole back of the truck looks ridiculous, so I guess that fits in. And he can't store the axe, as far as I know, in either mode, so that is just one of those things you're gonna have to put back in the box. And of course, for comparisons, we're gonna bring down the camera just a bit. We're gonna get him there with SS86 Hot Rod, so you can see how these guys look together. And you know, from a scaling perspective, I personally think this works if they were from the same universe, which they are not. And of course, we're going to take a little bit longer and look at him with the Bumblebee Optimus Prime. And straight away, yeah, you can just see. I mean, if I had to, I understand they're the same character from two different movies, two different takes on the same character, but the Bumblebee Optimus Prime just totally knocks this out of the park. I mean, I don't understand why they couldn't have done similar engineering on this guy. I don't think the added articulation was really all that worth it. I think overall, just the Bumblebee Optimus has the better presentation here. Just not just from an aesthetic standpoint, but even, you know, again, whatever extra articulation they were trying to get out of this mold, I do not think it was worth the breakup in the truck mode, or like whatever, using the extra budget to not clean up the back of the truck better. And that's gonna be pretty much it for the truck mode. And let's sum it up for the Transformers Studio Series Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime. And I was initially going to go into a tirade once again about how loveless I felt the alt mode was and blah blah blah, just say all kinds of stuff that you haven't heard before, but I try not to do that on this channel. I really try not to fixate on too many things. So I do want to say this, I think that this figure, compared to the Bumblebee Optimus, which shares a lot of similar engineering, I think this is the more disappointing figure of the two. And yes, again, I know they're based on two completely different versions of the character, but I think they simply tried to make a few too many changes to the mold, trying to achieve, you know, different articulation in some areas or satisfy different criteria, and I really don't think it worked out all that well for the mold in general. Again, I think the paint application is fine. I think the articulation is overall okay. I really don't like how the shoulders work. It kind of makes it a bit awkward when posing. Everything else is fine. Transformation is fun and enjoyable. You already know my thoughts on the alt mode. I'm not going to beat a dead horse there. So overall, this isn't a figure I would personally buy, but I really don't think, as an objective person, I can't say I don't recommend it. It still is a fine figure. I just don't think it's as good of an entry as other figures, especially in the Studio Series category. That being said, if you want one of your own, it is still available at Big Bad Toy Store. I'll put a link in the description down below. You can check that out. Incidentally, the Bumblebee Optimus Prime I previously reviewed is also available at Big Bad Toy Store if you want one of those. So I put a link in the description down below to that review. That being said, it is time to end, so you guys know what to do at this point. If you found this review fun and informative, hit that like button down below. I greatly appreciate it. It does help me out. Additionally, if you are a fan of Transformers reviews, granted I do more Masterpiece than mainline, but hey, you know, I am doing more mainline as JJ gives me more stuff, so if there's a chance to see a lot more of that on the channel, as well as Missing Link, consider giving me a subscribe. Thank you so much to those of you that already are. I greatly appreciate it. And that is all for now. I have been FC Finch. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for making me a part of your collecting journey. Good night.